Hello everybody, it's Nick here with Nick Tolman Music, and today we are going to continue our beginner guitar lesson series using Hal Leonard's Guitar Method, Book 1. Let's get started. Alright, so today we're going to be looking at page 19 in the Hal Leonard Guitar Method Book 1. And before we do, as always, please check out my Patreon page and consider becoming a patron today. Patreon is a great way for you to be able to say thank you for the content that you're receiving here on YouTube and for these guitar lessons. It also helps us to be able to keep these coming to you. So consider becoming a patron today. Thanks. Alright, so on page 19, we're gonna start out, there are 4 exercises, and the first 3 are just reviewing chords. All right, we're just gonna kind of be drilling some chord progressions. And then when we move to 41, it's a new song that we're learning to play. All right, so let's start by taking a look at 38. All right, all these chords, all these first 3 exercises are just gonna be drilling the 4 chords that we've learned so far, so it's nothing new, it's just review. All right, so I'm going to take the same process we've done in the past. I'm going to do each one with whole notes, half notes, and quarter notes. All right, so here is number 38 at 72 on the metronome. 1, 2, ready, and go. 2, 3, 4. And that would end with a G, if that were a progression that we were playing. There you go. All right, so that's whole notes. Let's try it with half notes. Here we go. 1, 2, half notes, go. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a G on the end of there just to make it more satisfying, all right? And let's try it with quarter notes. Here we go. 1, 2, quarter notes, go. All right, that's the idea. Nothing fancy here, we're just practicing moving between the chords. If you're struggling with this, please review the previous 2 lessons where I talk more in depth about some things that you should be doing to get comfortable moving between these chords. All right, so let's go ahead and try it at 120 on the metronome. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and... All right, let's go and try with half notes. 1, 2, half notes, and. And quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, and. All right, moving ahead, let's take a look at number 39. Now, this one we're not going to do whole notes because you'll notice that the chords are changing every 2 beats in some of the measures, so that actually makes whole notes don't really work. Okay, so we're going to start with half notes and then we're going to do quarter notes. So here is exercise 39, half notes at 72. 1, 2, half notes, go. All right, let's try it with quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, and go. that's the idea. Those are the first two chords that we learned, so those should be pretty comfortable by now. Again, if you're struggling with those, don't hesitate to take a step back and just spend some good quality slow time picturing the move, envisioning it, and moving. Just sitting and drilling those finger movements, making sure that you have them nice and comfortable. All right, let's try that at 120. Here we go. Half notes first, and then quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, and. And quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, and. There you go, that's exercise 39. Let's take a look at 40. Again, we're gonna do just half notes and quarter notes because the chords are changing every 2 beats rather than every 4 like they were previously. Starting at 72, if you need to start slower, please do. Here are half notes at 72. 1, 2, ready, and go. On a G. I just added that last G just to make it feel a little more final. All right, let's try it with quarter notes this time. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and go. Very nice. And let's jump that up real quick. Here we go. 1, 2, half notes, ready, and. And quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, and. All right, especially since you're new to learning chords, I would encourage doing these 3 exercises every day for the next little while, even if you move on to further pages, just to really drill this process of moving between chords. All right, it's only gonna help you out in the long run to spend a lot of time practicing your chord changes. All right, let's take a look at number 41, okay? Now, this one you're gonna need to learn the melody and the chords, all right? So, we're gonna start with the melody at 72. We're pretty familiar with this process, but I'll go ahead and play it for you at 72, exercise 41. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's the melody. There's nothing too fancy about it. It's just the notes that we've learned so far. Again, this melody is pretty repetitive, right? That first measure repeats a lot, like that. That kind of idea. Third finger, first finger, third finger, right? So the idea is just kind of taking it slowly, focusing on the parts that give you problems, right? So if there's any particular spot that jumps out to you like, I keep messing up here, then kind of isolate that spot, drill it until it's nice and smooth, and then put it back into the context of the whole thing. All right, so let's talk about the chords really quick. So I would highly suggest doing the same process that we've done on the other chord progressions. So when you learn these chords, start out by playing them as whole notes, right? Turn your metronome to 72, just like we did, or even slower if you need, and start out with whole notes. And then half notes, and then quarter notes, and kind of build your way up into being able to strum quarter notes on this, okay? Eventually we're gonna get into more complex strumming patterns. For now, we're just gonna focus on doing quarter notes. That's kind of the goal for you for right now, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and play the chords here as quarter notes and show you what the melody sounds like with that. So here we go, 72 quarter notes on the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's go ahead and try this at a faster tempo. Here is 120. I'll go ahead and play the melody for you, and then I'll add the chords to it. At 120. 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. And let's go ahead and add the chords to that. So here we go. 1, 2, oh, 1, 2, 3. And that's the idea. This one can obviously be taken faster, and it's a lot of fun to play faster. So if you've mastered it at 120 on the metronome, go ahead and bump that metronome up and see how fast you can play it, and it's a lot of fun to do. All right, so there is a quick note down here, and just a reminder. So it says you can also play G, C, and D7 chords with Worried Man Blues on 16, page 16, right? So a few lessons ago, we talked about Worried Man Blues, and we was our first time talking about singing and playing together, but at the time we hadn't learned chords. At this point, you do know the chords. So if you want to go back and learn how to play Worried Man Blues on page 16, that is a great option. I'm going to go ahead and play that for you now, so you know what that's all about, and if that's something you want to work on. So here's Worried Man Blues. 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, yes now, but I won't be worried long. And that's that. If you want to go back and work on that, feel free. You know the chords for it now, so it should be fun for you to work on. Thank you so much for tuning in today. As always, please subscribe if you haven't already, and we will catch you next time. Thanks.